morning. Welcome to Fishing with Gary Senft. We're out here at Bartlett Lake. It's at the end of April and we're in the post spawn. 90% of all the bass have already spawned. They're thin, but some of them are starting to bite again. So we're gonna try to show you how to catch these post spawn fish today. We're gonna start out with some reaction baits, maybe some square bills, some small little crankbaits and stuff. I noticed that the shad were running and they're only about this big. So I tied on just a little tiny bait like this just to match the hatch. And we're gonna take off and cover the whole lake, and I'll throw some little bit bigger ones later on in the show, a little deeper. Right now we're just throwing it along the bank, and it's only 2 inches long. It's just a little guy. It goes down about 3-4 feet, that's it. So looks like a shad's got the black dot on there and just a little lip on there. So that's what we're gonna start with, and let's go catch some fish. So right now we're just throwing small crankbaits and out towards the shore. And the shad are actually coming up on the shore to spawn. So you can see that we didn't get very far. We're right here where everybody's parking and the shad are running. You'll see the shad running, you know, a little bit behind me over here. I'll show you. This is what the shad do when they come in to spawn. They'll run right along the shoreline like this, you know. So, you know, when you find this food source, you find the fish. So we'll sit here and throw this just a little bit and see if there's a couple nice ones here. They've been busting shad up through here. So right now I'm just throwing a little square bill. That's all I'm doing, just a small one. There's a big one just came up right there. Let's see if we can hook that one. We'll back off here just a little bit. When these things are eating shad, boy, I tell you, you can just sneak up on these pretty quick. Uh-oh, there's one. There's one. This one's pulling pretty hard. Woo! Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whoa, boy. They are fighting this morning, that's for sure. Well, that's not a bad fish. This is a pretty good one. Good way to start out the morning, catching a fish right off the landing. I've got light line on here tied onto this spinning rod with braid. So we're just gonna lift this guy up. So you can see we haven't even started the big engine yet. And we got a 2-pound pluser on right now. When David gets in the boat, I'll kind of get out the crankbaits and show you up close what I'm using. So, goodbye, little guy. These little square bills are fun to fish. They just go real shallow. They only go a couple feet down under the surface, and boy, you can just bounce them off the rocks and just have a good time with them. If you do get stuck, you can go up and get them off the rocks. And now I'm gonna switch to a smaller crankbait. The other one was small, this one's smaller. Let's try this a little bit. This is kind of matching the hatch, a little bit smaller. Let's throw it around here just a little bit. The shad are really small, but you know, they're 2 inches long. Let's just see if we can't hook a couple fish in this area on that. Sometimes you just have to play with these crankbaits, you know, just like we do the color of the worms. You know, some days they might want a crawdad crankbait or they might want a shad. I like to use the shad when the fish are spawning like this. The shad are, and they're up shallow. We're going to be trying a lot of different things with crankbaits today, so we'll show you a lot of different action. This bite can end pretty quickly. As soon as it starts, it seems like it could end. So we've caught a few off of here. We'll just give it a few more minutes and see what happens. You can still see the ripple from some of the shad over in the rocks there. You can bet those bass are pretty close by. Somewhere off these points in these rocks, those little bass are just sitting there waiting. I like to throw these real little crankbaits on a spinning rod. So about the same rod that I'm finesse fishing worms with, same thing. They're so light, so you can get a little bit better cast. I have braid on here, Daiwa braid, and some fluorocarbon tied on the end, just a small piece. Because when you're throwing that crankbait, I don't need a big old long piece of fluorocarbon. I can get by with just the real small piece. So we'll just give this a few seconds. Those rocks come off there pretty good. Oh, there comes some more shad right through the cut there, so. Tell you what, when that sun starts coming up like this and it starts getting warm, boy, it'll put those fish right down. But it seems like the shad are still moving around, so just kind of keep fanning around and moving around. And, oh, there they are over there on the next point. You know, some of the good conditions are early in the morning up here. These things will come in. Like I said, the shad are starting to spawn. If this just started, I've been up here. I've been up here all week, you know, taking people out, and this is just starting right now. Just this week it's starting, where they started coming up early in the morning up here. But that bite's been lasting all day. So, you know, naturally if these clouds roll in, it's going to be a little bit better. The bite will last a little bit longer. But right now, you can come up, and as long as you just keep moving around the lake, and that's what we plan on doing. We're going to start moving around and seeing what we can get going. I just figured maybe we could get another one here. We'll just kind of make some real quick cast and see if we can trick one of these other bass that are lounging right off these. Oh, there's one right there. He's chasing. It's a good size one. So let me see if I can position this right in front of his face, if he'll hit it. He's come out of the water chasing shad a couple times, so, but it's a single fish, so sometimes it's hard to get him to bite. If there's 2 or 3 fish, sometimes it's a lot easier to catch these fish. But that's just one moving up there, gobbling down some shad. So I'll just keep casting. Eventually you'll end up catching one. Here they come. Coming from both directions now. Those little guys are swimming. You can see them swimming along there. There's one right there. Followed it right out to us. This is just a little guy right here. He's a real little one. In fact, he felt a little bit bigger because he swiped at it. The other hook was in his mouth, and this one's in his size. But there are some big ones starting to come back. Ow. Come on, little guy. We'll just back off this just a little bit more here. There's a few big ones starting to come up, move in again. Let's see if we can't hook one of those. There's one right there. Oh yeah. So we're just gonna bring him in and just bring him right up to the boat. Well, look at that, just right there in the end of the lip. Nice, healthy little post-spawn fish. Just catching him up by the rocks. All right, let's let this little guy go. And we'll just throw him right in there. There we go. There he goes. So we're just gonna run this shoreline just a little bit. I know it's got late here, but I want to get up to the upper end of the lake and try a few spots up there just to see if we can't get any bigger fish or, you know, some different type of bass fishing going on. But square billing, that's it, you know, square billing and small little crankbaits with little lips on them. Do the trick. So we're just gonna run this bank right here real quick, and you can throw these things right on the bank here. So if there is a bass close by, he'll eat it. Oh, look what we caught. Mr. Catfish. Check this out, folks. Look at this big old flathead. No wonder he hit so hard. Boy, I thought I had a huge. Oh, better not do that or I'll be losing that. Oh. Here you go. How's this? Crankbaiting for catfish today. I've been slowly starting to catch some of these. Whoops. Well, might need the pliers for this one. Good eating though. They say they are. So.
Can't get him loose?
No, I'm gonna have to get my oh, there he comes. Flathead catfish. A small one, little guy. Got to remember a few years ago, Flathead Ed got the record out of here, 78, I think 78.5 pounds. So, but they do slime you up a lot. But he hit that thing pretty hard, I'll tell you. So I switched crankbaits. I thought I'd try a little Bill Norman, something a little bit deeper. And there's no shad spawn up here. The bass aren't real shallow, so I thought I'd try something just a little deeper. And we got that flathead, so I just bounced off one of these rocks down below here that you're seeing, these round rocks. And that's how I ended up catching that one. But these flatheads, boy, they like something moving. They will catch them. I've caught them. I've got these flatheads in this lake up to 30 pounds. You know, by accident, not fishing for them, but they give a good fight. So we'll try this deep crankbait for a little bit. Remember, we're just trying for post-spawn fish, and we're just looking around to see, you know, where there are. You just got to try different areas. Are they on steep rocky banks like this? You know, where you have a 90-degree or almost straight down. Or are we gonna go over to a gravel bank over there on the other side? So we'll try this for a little bit more and see if we can get any to hit this crankbait right here. So we made it up the lake, folks, and trying a little bit different things. I like these banks right here with the rocks, and that way the fish can transition themselves, you know, from deep to shallow real quick. So we got a few smaller ones. So what I'm mainly doing as far as trying to get a reaction bite is I'm fishing this pretty slow because we just have a little tiny lip on here, little 1.5, and I'm just throwing it right up on the rocks, just climbing it right down the shoreline. I hold my rod down like this. I have a 6-to-5 ratio on my reel, and I'm just trying to hit something, you know, along the way. So sometimes the longer you cast, and I'll show you that, sometimes you can bump more rocks. So I'm trying to get that reaction bite with a square bill. So I could cast way out there, hold my rod way down by the water. Now I'm bumping rocks. Nope. Boy, he came off that rock. I had hit one of those big old boulders out there and actually got that fish to come up and hit that. Oh, it's a nice fish, but not gigantic. But it gives you an idea that square billing, oh boy, he hooked himself. Look at this. Got him in the mouth and the side. Well, that one didn't get away, did he? Boy, I'm gonna have to get that pliers out for this guy. Oh, That one came out. There it is. But just an average size bass, pound and a half. You know, he's been caught before. You know, nice fish, but just right off that rock cropping. We'll try that again. Sometimes there's two there, so we'll let him go. All right. So what I did was basically really easy. I saw the rocks coming down, the boulders, and I just cast it, you know, past it. And I was just reeling out like this. Now I'm out a little bit further, seeing if this thing will go down and hit just a little bit further. I bumped those rocks. So we'll make 2 or 3 or 4 casts and see what happens. And remember, this is only going down a couple feet. So we'll just get over just a little closer to the rocks. Okay, I just bumped the rocks right now. So I'm 5 feet off the bank, you know, out, and I'm bumping a couple of those big old boulders you see up on the shore. Just to kind of give you an idea. I mean, it's later in the morning. You know, it's 9 o'clock, 9:30. Sun's up. So these fish oh man. It's got to be a rock, but that's all right. That's what I want to do, is I'm trying to hit those rocks. Just trying to fill those rocks. Trying to get that down there. We'll throw one way down there. I like to get my rod tip down so that bait goes just a little bit deeper. Just medium cranking like this is all I'm doing. And let's try it again. Sometimes the further you throw, the better it is. You know, that way you cover more territory along the shoreline. Don't be afraid to hit those rocks. I mean, if you get stuck, you're only in 3 feet of water anyway. If you get stuck, you can just go get it undone. Boy, I see a nice set of rocks right up there in the water. If I can just come across that again. There's got to be another fish there. Bounce, bounce, bounce. There we go. Got another one. Come on, baby. Come on in. Feels a little better than the last one. Boy, he's diving. Doesn't feel like a catfish, that's for sure. Feels like a bass. Oh, I see white. There he is. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nicer fish. Oh, I got him in the mouth and the gill. Swimming towards the boat. Oh yeah. Whoa, that's a good fish. A lot better than the last one. Well, one hook in the mouth. They're not eating it all the way down, but still, we're still catching some, especially with the sun. But we'll just show this little crankbait right here up against the fish and just give you an idea of what's happening. That's what they're eating. Shad. So nice little 2-pounder. It's fun, square billing. Heck, you can even buy these at the Bass Pro Shop. They're KVD, Strike King, shad color. $5-6. Get you some of these and have fun with them, you know. Thank you. We're gonna release this one. So As a general rule, when you first get to the lake, it's early, the sun's very low, it's just coming over the mountain, you got a lot of shade on the bank. Small little crankbaits like this that are very shallow are very effective. As that light comes back up over the mountain, you need to increase that bill a little bit more, let that bait dive a little deeper. And then as it really comes up over, you might want to tie that 10, 12 feet deep crankbait with a bigger bill. So that's a general rule, you know, stick to it and you'll catch more fish.